Hi students, today we are going to study about glands. In previous chapter you will study pituitary glands. In this chapter some more glands, and these are pancreas gland, pineal gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland and hypothalamus gland. So let's start the chapter. First of all, what is gland? See, a gland is an organ in an animal's body that synthesizes a substance for release of substances such as hormones or breast milk, often into the bloodstream, endocrine gland, or into cavities inside the body or its outer surface called exocrine glands. So, in simple words, gland is an organ or tissue or cell that secretes a chemical for performing a particular function. An exocrine gland is a gland that pours its secretion on the surface or into a particular region by means of ducts. An endocrine gland is an isolated gland which secretes informational molecules, or you can also say them hormones, that are poured into venous blood or lymph for reaching the target organ. Because this gland is not connected with the target organ by any duct, that's why it is ductless gland or endocrine gland. So this is the gland. So first of all, we will study about hypothalamus gland. So what is hypothalamus gland? This is also a type of gland. Let's see. This is hypothalamus gland. It is a portion of brain that contains a number of small nuclei with a variety of functions. One of the most important functions of the hypothalamus is to link the nervous system to the endocrine system by the way of the pituitary gland. And the main function of hypothalamus is homeostasis, that is, maintaining the body's status quotient. See, hypothalamus is the control center of all autonomic regulatory activities of the body. It has been said that the hypothalamus is the brain of the brain. Good. It is a hub for automatic and endocrine homeostatic systems. It is a almond-like in shape. Hypothalamus is located below the thalamus and just above the brain stem. It forms the ventral part of the diencephalon. Actually, in the terminology of neuroanatomy, hypothalamus forms the ventral part of the diencephalon. Second, in humans it is roughly the size of an almond. The size of hypothalamus is like a pearl, like an almond size. Next, hypothalamus is responsible for certain metabolic processes and other activities of the autonomic nervous system. See, hypothalamus is involved in the mediation of endocrine, autonomic and behavioral functions. Next, it synthesizes and secretes certain neurohormones often called hypothalamic releasing hormones. See, hypothalamus controls the release of 8 major hormones by the hypophysis and is involved in temperature regulation, control of food and water intake, sexual behavior and reproduction, control of daily cycles in physiological state and behavior, and mediation of emotional responses. Next, these hormones in turn stimulate or inhibit the secretion of pituitary hormones. Hypothalamus controls body temperature, hunger, thirst, fatigue, sleep and circadian cycles. What is circadian cycles? Circadian cycles is an endogenously driven roughly 24-hour cycle in biochemical, physiological or behavioral processes. Circadian cycles have been widely observed in plants, animals, fungi and cyanobacteria. The term circadian comes from the Latin circa, means around, and diema means dies, meaning day. So the hypothalamus coordinates many hormonal and behavioral circadian rhythms, complex patterns of neuroendocrine outputs, complex homeostatic mechanisms and many important behaviors. Small nuclei within the hypothalamus are involved in many different functions, like the paraventricular nucleus and the supraoptic nucleus contain oxytocin and vasopressin neurons which project to the posterior pituitary, but also contain neurons that regulate adrenocorticotropic hormone and thyroid stimulating hormone secretion from the anterior pituitary, as well as gastric reflexes, maternal behavior, blood pressure, feeding, immune responses, and temperature. So, two hormones, these are oxytocin and adrenodiuretic hormone, are directly taken by nerve cells into neurohypophysis. The hormones are transported as neurophysin-bound secretory granules through the nerve fibers. Hormones pulled in adenohypophysis function as releasing or inhibiting hormones. Next, the hypothalamus coordinates many hormonal and behavioral circadian rhythms, complex patterns of neuroendocrine outputs, complex homeostatic mechanisms, and many important behaviors. This is different nuclei of hypothalamus. See, and this is anterior nuclear group, this is reticular nucleus, this is ventral nuclei, namely ventral anterior, ventral lateral, ventral posterior, lateral nuclei. These are dorsal nuclei, namely medial, lateral, dorsal and lateral posterior dorsal nuclei. This is paraventricular nucleus, this is anterior commissure, this is preoptic nucleus. These are all the small nuclei of the hypothalamus. This is anterior hypothalamic nucleus, supraoptic, suprachiasmatic, optic, arcuate nucleus, dorsomedial nucleus, posterior hypothalamic nucleus, lateral hypothalamic area, ventromedial nucleus, and mammillary bodies. So these are all the small nuclei of hypothalamus. It is just richly connected with many parts of the central nervous system, including the brainstem, reticular formation and autonomic zones, the limbic forebrain, particularly the amygdala, septum, diagonal band of Broca, and the olfactory bulbs and the cerebral cortex. Next comes hypothalamic group and nuclei. Hypothalamus is divided into two types of region. These are medial region and lateral hypothalamic area. Next, medial region is divided into three parts: supraoptic part, tubular part, and mammillary part. And these parts have different nuclei. Like supraoptic has three types of nuclei. These are paraventricular, supraoptic, and suprachiasmatic. Paraventricular nuclei helps in oxytocin release and vasopressin release. Supraoptic also helps in oxytocin release and vasopressin release. Next, suprachiasmatic, it helps in vasopressin release, circadian rhythms, thirst and hunger, vasopressin release. Next comes ventromedial nucleus, it helps in satiety and neuroendocrine control. Arcuate nuclei, it helps to release luteinizing releasing hormone. Mammillary nuclei, it increases memory. And posterior nuclei, it increases blood pressure, pupillary dilation, and shivering. So these are the hypothalamic group and nuclei of hypothalamus. Now, hypothalamus is responsive to light, that is daylight and photoperiod, for regulating circadian and seasonal rhythms. Next, it is responsive to olfactory stimuli, including pheromones. See, olfactory stimuli are important for sex and neuroendocrine function in many species. I am just giving you an example, like if a pregnant mouse is exposed to the urine of a strange male during a critical period after coitus, then the pregnancy fails. Thus, during coitus, a female mouse forms a precise olfactory memory of her partner, which persists for several days. So, hypothalamus is responsive to olfactory stimuli. Next, steroids, including gonadal steroids and corticosteroids. See, hypothalamus contains neurons that react strongly to steroids and glucocorticoids. The steroid hormones of adrenal gland released in response to adrenocorticotropic hormone. It also contains specialized glucose-sensitive neurons which are important for appetite. Next, neurally transmitted information arising in particular from the heart, the stomach, and the reproductive tract. Next, autonomic inputs are also responsive by hypothalamus. Next, blood-borne stimuli including leptin, ghrelin, angiotensin, insulin, pituitary hormones, cytokines, plasma concentration of glucose, osmolarity, etc. are responsive by hypothalamus. See, Blood-borne stimuli, that is peptide hormones, have important influences upon the hypothalamus, and to do so they must evade the blood-brain barrier. The hypothalamus is bounded in part by specialized brain regions that lack an effective blood-brain barrier. The capillary endothelium at these sites is fenestrated to allow free passage of even large proteins and other molecules. Hypothalamus is responsive to stress. And next, invading microorganisms by increasing body temperature, resetting the body's thermostat upward, are all controlled by hypothalamus.